My friend has a strange habit of mimicking me, but recently, it's gone from slightly annoying to deeply unsettling. It's like she's trying to become me, and I no longer know how to deal with it. Stacy is a fun person to be around. We've been friends for over 5 years. She comes over and I let her borrow my clothes or give her clothes I don't want anymore. I don't like her style, but she lets me borrow her clothes when I want. So I knew she tended to lie. But the lies were harmless, or at least I thought so. We've been friends for almost 5 years now. Sometimes, it felt like she was joking or trying to make herself seem more interesting. I ignored it, which in hindsight, was a mistake. Over time, though, the lies became more frequent, and I noticed how often they revolved around me. We were fine, and our friendship was good, but I started to feel weird about her when my sister messaged me, saying Stacy had been talking behind my back. She was telling people that I kicked her out of my condo and that I had men constantly coming in and out of my place, making her feel unsafe while she was there. Big lie. By the way, here's what happened. Stacy had come to my city while I was back in my hometown. She was staying with another friend, but that arrangement fell through. Without asking, she started bringing all her stuff to my place. She didn't book a return flight home and didn't ask if she could stay long term. My roommate doesn't like Stacy because she's messy. She leaves clothes everywhere and doesn't clean up after herself. The last time she stayed, she overstayed her welcome by a week, and I didn't know when she planned to leave. This time, my roommate was coming back the next day, and I knew she wouldn't want Stacy to stay with us. I politely asked Stacy if she could stay elsewhere, explaining the situation. She said it was fine and that she'd stay with another friend. But apparently, she turned around and told that friend all the lies my sister told me. So, on to the mirroring. The copying was done over long periods. We've been friends for 5 years, but I only started noticing it about a year ago. So here are some of the instances I felt she was copying me. I told her I would manage my parents' business. A week later, she told everyone she would also manage her parents' business. Never happened. I said I was moving to the city to finish college. Suddenly, she told people she was moving to the same city for college. Never happened. I started looking for styling jobs and internships. She told me she got a styling job a week later, but it never happened. Other instances were small, like I got a new phone and she immediately blurts out she's gonna get a new phone but for free from some guy. Or like that, I got a tattoo from this popular tattoo artist, and she will immediately say that the tattoo artist messaged her for a tattoo session, but she was in the hospital so she couldn't go. Things like that. At first, I brushed it off, thinking maybe she just wanted to feel included. But the pattern of claiming to do what I'm doing, without actually following through, kept happening. I've always been someone who works hard and takes pride in being productive. I get that a little mirroring is normal in friendships, but Stacy's behavior felt different. She's someone who doesn't have much direction in life. She hasn't finished high school, has no real plans or passions, and doesn't put effort into learning skills that could lead to a career. I tried to be patient, but things escalated in a way I didn't expect. She copied my medical condition. This was the tipping point. And a situation I have never been in and felt so creeped out about. About a year ago, I had a partial salpingectomy due to an infection in my fallopian tube. It was one of the most painful experiences of my life. My tube ruptured, and the infection spread throughout my body, sepsis I believe it's called. Luckily, I was already in the hospital, so they removed the tube and started me on antibiotics. Even so, my doctor told me I might struggle to have children in the future. It was traumatic, and the recovery process was long and emotional. A few weeks ago, Stacy went to the hospital. I messaged her to ask what happened, but she just sent a selfie of herself in a hospital bed. I was busy with finals at school, so I didn't follow up immediately. She messaged me 2 days later, saying she was exhausted from being hospitalized for 4 days. I asked what was wrong, and she said she had the same condition. I was shocked. She claimed she had a ruptured cyst in her fallopian tube that became infected, almost went into heart failure, and needed a blood transfusion. She said she was supposed to have surgery, but they didn't proceed because of her weak condition. I immediately knew she was lying. If your fallopian tube is infected and ruptured, surgery isn't optional, it's mandatory. I'm not a doctor, but after my experience, I researched much, and what she described just didn't make sense. Now, here's the thing. I told people I had a ruptured cyst cause I didn't know how else to explain my condition and not get into the gross details. You say cyst and people don't really ask anymore. Truth is it was a really bad infection that only escalated because of my IUD. The infection grew in my fallopian tube and got so big they thought it was a cyst at first, hence why I decided just to call it a cyst. And I did mention to her that it's a good thing I was in the hospital cause if all that happened and I got sepsis, it could cause heart failure. I feel like she only mirrored what I said except tried to make her condition seem worse. Nothing she said made any sense. She was in the hospital, but the reason why she was there sounds like it's all made up. Even on a group call while she was still in the hospital, she was listing medications to herself, almost as if she was trying to convince us it was real. She also later told a story about how she jumped on the hospital bed when her brother came to visit. Who does that after a life-threatening emergency? At this point, I felt insane. Cause who lies about something like this? Am I crazy? Is she copying me? Is she a bad friend? Am I imagining all of it? Reading into it too much? Is it bad if I don't want to be friends with her anymore? She's my friend, and I want to help her, but it's hard to approach her if all she does is lie. I want to distance myself from her, but we have mutual friends, and I know she'll spread more lies about me if I pull away. Has anyone else dealt with a friend like this? How do you create distance without creating unnecessary drama? Edit. I want to add that a few hours ago she just posted in her story a screenshot of a course list of subjects that is the same as the course I'm taking right now. She has never shown interest in my course, so this is weird. I wonder if she's just messing with me at this point. Update. It's a lot worse than I thought it was. I have not run into her since I returned to my hometown. Thank God. When I knew she was back in town, I avoided going out, barely replied to her texts, and told my friends, who were very supportive by the way. I did not want to be where she was. Luckily, we all took a trip out of town, which she had recently been uninvited to, due to her having a lot of issues with the people going. Thankful for that cause I did not want to see her. When me and my friend, we'll call him Ryan, took a trip to a different town nearby, we reached out to one of our friends who lived there. We'll call her Danny. Now, Danny was close with Stacy, and they would hang out almost every day. Everyone knew them to be the best, and they were no longer friends. Stacy told me about the falling out situation, so I wanted to hear Danny's side, and when I tell you, it was a whole different story. Stacy made Danny look crazy, insecure, over-emotional, and inconsiderate. I was shocked at how different the two stories were. Danny started opening up on how Stacy borrowed money from her for her rent, kept treating her horribly and pushing her around. I told Danny how I didn't know she was that much of a bitch. I have never seen that side of her at all. Danny replied, that's because she's obsessed with you, you don't even know, which sent chills all over my body. She went on to say how she would talk about me every time she would be with Stacy. From my hobbies to the issues I have in my life, including dating and very personal things, Stacy would want to dress like me and do whatever I was doing. She would buy the same accessories as me, shoes as me. Tell everybody about me. Talk about how me and I are close. Anytime I dyed my hair, she would want the same colors. It made me feel so uncomfortable hearing all of this, knowing I thought this girl was my friend. But at the same time, she would belittle me anytime someone complimented me, and I wasn't there. She would tell people I smelled bad, I had bad hygiene, and I slept with a lot of guys. She would tell people I get all my connections from her. At the same time, she was telling Danny that she was only friends with me because she could get connections from me. The contradictions? Danny added that Stacy doesn't shower. She doesn't even own her soap, shampoo, or conditioner. I realized then where the comments about me having bad hygiene came from. All of the insults she gives other people are just reflections on how she is. She sleeps around, she has bad hygiene, she gets her connections from me, and she is insecure. These are the insults she would tell people about other people. Honestly, now I see the pattern that it's all just her mirroring insecurities about herself and projecting them to other people. I couldn't say I was shocked, but I was hurt and chilled. When I asked Danny how long this had been going on, she replied, since the first time she met Stacy, 4 years ago. I can't believe I was friends with Stacy for so long. And I never noticed how sick this person was. She would end up not paying her rent because she would spend all her money buying the same things I had or coming to my city to visit me. Also, I kind of figured out her medical condition she claimed was the same as mine. Was, and STI/STD. Because her frequent guy that she was seeing also went to the hospital, and she kind of let it slip to one of our friends that it was because of her infection. I am not shaming her at all. I never cared how she wanted to live her life, but I always tried to remind her to wrap it up, especially if she wanted to see guys like that. Well, I hope someone tries to remind her about that now, cause she will not be hearing it from me or hearing from me anymore. At all. I feel drained by all of the information I have been getting about her. Now that I have seen for myself what she is, I can hear what other people are saying more clearly. My close friends and I agree that we learned from meeting Stacy. I have been so nice and generous with people that I allowed myself to be used by someone I thought was my friend. I mean, she is a flat-out narcissist, and I kind of knew it from the moment I met her, but I let it slide. So now I'm more skeptical of people I meet. I hope I never have to see her again.